So, if you just connected now, welcome to this live. My name is 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗀. I'm the founder of graceofnoage, and today we're gonna be together with some of our ambassadors, actually 6 of them. They are gonna be telling you more about themselves. Well, I'll be telling you about them, and then they'll talk about what they do. And they'll be giving you some tools, some ideas, some suggestions on how to leave behind this 2021, which has been challenging for most of us, and how to very lovingly enter 2022 with enthusiasm, with all our power, and hopefully with a few tips that will help us navigate a year that we don't know what's going to happen, but we're just going to make it through for sure. So we're going to have 6 goddesses, like I said. We're going to have Whitehouse. She's on screen now. She's in the UK. We're going to have Dominique Cocuzza. She's in Charlottesville in Virginia. We're going to have Katie Holland, who's in Egypt, in Cairo, even though she's from the UK. And then soon, the dynamic of the live, because we can only be 4 people on screen at the same time. Every time a goddess finishes her talk, she's going to leave the screen and another goddess is going to enter. So then we're going to have Marta Victoria. She's from the Dominican Republic and she's living in Miami at the moment. And then we're going to have Vicki Villard. And she's original from Honduras and living also in Weston, which is very close to Miami in Florida. And then we have Katherine Taurasi, and she's in Dallas and in the US. So only with this small sample, you can see how international we are. Yesterday, we had people from Honduras, Peru, Venezuela, Spain, can't even remember, but we are in many places in the world already. So let me tell you about our first speaker. She's Whitehouse, like I said. She lives in Leicester. She had to teach me how to pronounce that word because I would say Leicester, but now I know it's Leicester. And she's the author of Pull Back Your Power, and an amazing book that we all should read whenever we feel like we're losing our power. She's going to tell us more why she wrote this book. But she's originally and formally a scientist turned into a female alchemist, which is kind of a very explosive combination, isn't it? And she works in the subconscious transformation of women. She likes to work with women mainly, that they need to, again, claim back her power. So she helps women transcend the boys club mentality. And again, because she comes from a skyrocketing, right, scientific background, she had to fight and handle situations so she could be seen. And that's what brought her here today and to write this book. So yeah, she's gonna tell us today about the how holding your power and how to create your energetic boundaries, which is gonna be very useful for 2022 for sure. So the microphone is yours, and welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to get straight to it. We might believe that we're empowered, but often we're not actually holding our power energetically. It's 2 different things. So going forward into next year, women have been under so much stress and strain, and so much, we all know what we've been dealing with. It's super important to stay strong, to stay resilient. So I'm going to be giving you basically 3 tools, tips that is going to help you move forward. So the first thing is, work out where it is that you are being drained of power in your life. And this is really, really easy to work out. All you need to think of is, if you're dealing with somebody, if they are making you feel stressed, anxious, frustrated, angry, exhausted, they are actually draining your energy away. Even if you're being assertive on the surface, they are draining you energetically. So women are completely conditioned to allow this because all of our ancestry tells us we are there to support and look after, and if somebody is in a stress state or upset, we need to go down there with them and look after them. But this is really a bad thing. It's really a bad thing. So this leads me on to the second thing. Once you have worked out who in your life is in fact draining your power, and it could be your partner, it could be your boss, your colleague, could be your friend, look for those key signs. The next thing to do is to understand, or to turn off the conditioning that tells you you need to allow this. So to do this, it's have an understanding of temperature. So if you imagine your friend is like really, really cold, you want to make her feel better. If you say, right, I'm going to make myself really cold and sit down here with you in a really low temperature, nobody's going to feel better. But if you say, right, she's really cold, if I make myself hot and sit next to her, I'm going to bring her up. That's the way it works energetically. If you hold your power and keep your vibration high and stop yourself from being drained, you are going to bring everybody up with you. This is so, so important, because all the conditioning that we've inherited tell us the opposite. It says you've got to go down and share their suffering. No, you do not have to do that at all. It's completely counterproductive. So you now know how to work out when somebody is draining your power, draining your energy, and you need to, and you know how to give yourself the right mindset of not allowing that and thinking, oh, it's okay, I'm making them feel better, I'm just being dutiful, I'm just looking after them.
Oops.
My internet just cut. I'm back.
It's okay, you're back. You're back.
So I say, so you've got that mindset of I need to bring myself up. But then what we have is something to actually do about it, right? So what happens then is, if you feel that drain, if you feel that energy pulling out from you, this is what you do. So the first thing you do is you put a mental block, literally as if you're putting something in the circuit, you're stopping the power flow. And you can imagine that like a door, like like closing the gates, or putting a big block in the way between you and them. But then here's the key thing. The key thing is that you then bring your attention round, down, and back to you. So you don't think about them, you don't focus on them, you bring your focus right back into you. And by doing that, you are reversing the energy flow and you're bringing it back up into yourself. So if you then hold that attention, what you'll find is your power comes back, you feel stronger, and it stops being drained. So we've got the three things, super quick to finish. We've got the identify where you're being drained by people, and it's the anxiety, the stress, the frustration, the exhaustion, the irritation. When you get that, remind yourself, I need to stop this, bring my vibration up. That's going to help everybody else come up with me. And then you have the put in the block and bring your attention back round to you, as if you're literally cutting off the energy flow, and you're holding that, and you'll find your energy will come back and that flow will stop. And you'll then feel completely different with that person. You'll feel completely and utterly different. So that's my top tips on holding your power energetically in order to move forward. And that will automatically give you a nice, healthy boundary.
Very, very, very useful tips. And I'm going to make sure to just take them into account when I am with, it happens sometimes, you just are with people or meet people that are draining you, and it's good to know how to deal with that, definitely. Thank you very much, Anne. So
you're so welcome.
You just leave the camera, but please stay following the live, because someone might want to ask you a question, and so it's good if you can stick around. All right. I don't know what happened now. Okay, so let's continue. And our next speaker is Dominique Cocuzza. She's going to tell us about 10 tips to stay on track with Kelsey Kavitz through the holidays, which I think it's something that we are all going to be using a lot, because there are so many excesses and so many changes of routines and so much going on that sometimes we feel like we're lost on that. So let me tell you a little bit about Dominique. Dominique lives in Charlottesville, Virginia, like I mentioned before, and she's a personal trainer, and she's a specialized coach for menopausal women. She's in her 40s, and even she's in her 40s, she broke some national and state records in strength sports. So that's very impressive. And she applies her expertise in Olympics and powerlifting with kettlebells, perinatal strength, and so much more to coach women in between 13-year-olds and 85-year-olds. So she can cater for any one of you, no matter how old or how young you are. Let's say how young you are. I like that better. And she's a mom of 2, and she's in perimenopause, which is challenging. So she definitely understands the need that women have in different stages in her life. So welcome, Dominique, and the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much. I just want to say I'm really excited and proud to be part of this group of women who are going to change the world. This list that I made actually grew out of a request from my own ladies who are in 𝗵𝗿𝗃𝗃. 𝗵𝗵𝗃𝗃 is a wellness platform and online community for Gen X women who are experiencing hormonal change. So they asked me for some tips to stay on track over the holidays. Many of them have been doing amazing work all year with me, just trying to cultivate awareness and consciousness about the choices that they make regarding their health in the realm of working out, in the realm of eating, in their mindset, and in their lifestyle choices. So they want to make sure that they stay on track during the holidays, because the last thing they want to do is sabotage all of the good work that they've already done. And they also want to set themselves up so they feel good about themselves and about their choices as they head into the new year. So I made this really actionable list of 10 things that you can do that will help you to make better, more conscious choices over the holiday. As we know, this time can be really joyful, but it can also be stressful. So being in charge of the choices that you make is putting yourself in a state of empowerment. So the first thing that I have is to stay well hydrated. So the morning that you wake up on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, make sure that you fill up your water bottle and the water bottles that you intend to drink for the day, so that you're actually consuming half of your body weight in ounces. Or I don't know how that works out in the metric realm, but
no idea.
For us here, so you want to do half of your body weight in ounces. I should, maybe in the comments I can figure out what that would mean in metric.
Excellent.
So the other thing I want to say is to don't skip meals. So when you wake up in the morning, have your breakfast. Eat your normal breakfast. When we skip meals, we set ourselves up for low blood sugar and cravings that drive poor choices. The next thing I want to say is about alcoholic beverages. Allow yourself to have one beverage, just one, and plan it. So when you head into the holiday, you want to make your choice before you get there. For instance, with my ladies, we made a non-alcoholic ginger pear shrub, which is a vinegar-based drink, and they're going to be drinking that with some sparkling water. But you could also choose to have a gin and tonic or whatever you want to have, but make your choice before you show up. The same goes with dessert. We all want to have treats. Choose one dessert that you want to have, one serving of one dessert that you want to have, and plan it ahead. Maybe it's something that you're bringing with you. We made flourless zucchini brownies as our treat that we're going to be bringing with us and sharing with our families. The next thing that I wanted to say is, you know, when we go to these events, we have this huge spread of food out on the table, and we're going to enjoy a lovely feast with gratitude with our family. And, you know, before you start putting food on your plate, decide what you're going to eat. It's all about choice. So decide what you want to consume instead of just putting it on your plate. You know, what is going to make a well-rounded meal for you, a well-rounded experience that you're going to come away from the table feeling great about and nourished by, not something that you feel like you've stuffed into your body and you don't feel good about yourself, right? The other advice I have is to leave a little bit of white space on your plate. Another thing, go for those foods that are nutrient dense. Skip the bread. There's going to be so many great things for you to eat there. There's no reason to fill up on bread, right? This is another important one, and this has to do with gratitude and reverence for our food and our company, and that is to savor your food and savor your company. So take your time, put your fork down in between, enjoy conversation with your friends, with your family. The more that you savor each bite and have gratitude for all of the goodness and abundance you have, the higher vibration you're going to be in, and the more satisfied you're going to be by your food as well. I was going to say also avoid trigger foods. I'm going to admit to something. I can't just have one Dorito. If somebody puts a plate of Doritos out there, I'm going to eat a lot of them. I know they're not good for me. They're addictive though, and if I start eating them, I'm going to keep eating them. So I'm not going to eat. My family's not going to put Doritos out there, but if I encounter a bowl of Doritos over this holiday season, I am going to avoid them because that is a trigger food for me that I know I'm not going to be able to stay in control with. So if you have a trigger food, just avoid it. Plan a stress management go-to. Now, we all have wonderful times with our families, but we also have times where maybe we've stayed a couple too many days, or where somebody's starting to wear out their welcome. And, you know, we become stressed. Well, stress can also lead us down a road of making choices that we're not conscious of or happy about later. What can you use as your stress management go-to? I know for myself, I do this face tapping, which is kind of like a neurological reset for me in terms of my emotional state. And when I am not feeling my best in the company that I'm with, or when I'm feeling stressed, I will kind of retreat for a few minutes and do something like that. So if you have a ritual or a habit that you already have in place that you know helps soothe your nerves, think about that before you go. What can you do to manage your stress in the moment? And then the next thing that I was going to say is to get back on track the next day. There are many days between holidays. There are so many days between, for us here in the States, Thanksgiving and Christmas, where people kind of will get off track and keep going off track. You have an opportunity to get on track the next day. So take it. All right? Happy holidays.
Thank you, Dominique. They were amazing tips. And yeah, Anne was saying in the chat that she can only have one Dorito either, and I think I'm the same. They just make them in a way that you have to eat them all. So I just try not to buy Doritos. I buy healthy nachos. I don't know how healthy they are. They say it's organic and everything, but I'll still eat all the bag. But makes me feel better because it says organic, you know, like good oils and everything. So excellent. Thank you so much. And please, if you want to just leave the camera, but stay with us. So at the end, we can just go to the questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very inspiring. Thank you. We're going to continue with our next speaker. She's Katie Holland. Katie Holland was born in the UK. I think she's original from Leicester as well. I think she mentioned at some point. What are the chances that we have two Leicester girls on board? So she left the UK a while ago, and she's been traveling the world following her passion, which is sacred dance and spirituality. And she's currently living in Cairo in Egypt, where she continues to teach women and also men. She teaches sacred dancing and belly dancing to men as well, which I'd love to see. And she is, through the movement and through the dancing, she's helping women feel empowered and to connect with themselves through all this movement and spirituality. So microphone is yours, Katie. Oh, I forgot to say that you are going to be talking about how living your true soul purpose in these times, and stepping into your self-empowerment and leadership, and how sacred dance can support you through that journey. So
thank you. Yeah, and the dance therapy that I created is called Awaken Belly Dance. I forgot to write that in my in my bio. So things that have been happening in the world the last couple of years, it's really been full of fear and very triggering for all of us in ways that make it more difficult to be really embodied and to be really present in our life. So conscious movement or sacred dance is supporting you to bring you back to yourself, to bring you back to your back to your whole body in totality, and to really stand in your fears and not feel afraid, and also to begin to create the life that you want to. Because I know for many of us, we might feel that we've lost everything in this time, or everything that we thought was real for us or had some kind of solidity has maybe been taken away from you. And rather than thinking of it as a loss, or that we don't have anything in our life, we can think of it as it's more like clearing the dead wood and getting us back onto the path that we are really supposed to be on. And the question is how to find that path, and how to really trust ourselves and trust our body that we are in that right place that we're supposed to be. Because I know from my own experience that I've found that I'm really in the place that I'm supposed to be and doing what I'm supposed to do, which 2 years ago I could have never imagined that all of the drama that I've been through would have brought me to this place now. And the thing that has kind of led me through this has been basically walking my talk and following my own processes through Awaken Belly Dance. And there's a word that I discovered last year which became one of my favorite words, and it's called 𝗟𝗍𝗃. And it's like a step on from anarchy. 𝗟𝗍𝗃 is where we're all part of a collective, but we all have our own unique role to play in this, so that we're working in unity together. And it's like a sacred geometry. Everybody's connected and everybody is fulfilled, and everybody everybody is in balance with each other. So this is the meaning of 𝗟𝗍𝗃. And if you think about us now being here at this moment, we're the products of our ancestors who survived. So we are the end result of the survival of the fittest, or the survival of the strongest, or the most cunning. And our ancestors made it through pandemics, they made it through war, they made it through all kinds of famines and crazy stuff, and we're here now with all of their wisdom and all of the cellular memory that we've gathered in our bodies now. So through conscious movement we can access this. And there's really simple kind of exercises that you can do. One of them is shaking. So really allowing your body to shake from your core So it's not just your hands, it's coming from your pelvis, from your chest, from your belly, and relaxing your neck and shaking. So anything that's heavy, anything that you feel is kind of encroaching on your life and isn't supposed to be there, or you don't feel comfortable with it, you can shake it off and use your breath as well to make this stronger. Then the next stage is letting your body guide you. So what are the emotions that I feel right now? And how can I express these through my body? How can I unravel them from myself so that I'm not caught in the stories and in the drama? So this is part of becoming more free and lighter. And then after this, again, allowing your body to move you and express with all the parts of your body, not thinking about the way that it looks or that it's in a particular technique or dance style, but just letting your body speak through the movement. And then focusing on, okay, what is light for me? What do I want to experience in my life? And ultimately, who did I come here to be at this time? Because it's no accident that each of us are alive in this moment, and we all have our part to play in the 𝗚𝗵𝗃𝗃. And it's just having the trust and the resilience and the bravery to really follow that through. And we can each do this.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I didn't know about the shaking, but it's curious because you know that I do teach Pilates here and there. And sometimes I get, at the beginning, I just saw it somewhere and I thought it was like so much fun. So before I start the class, I get people to just shake, like really shake. And so by the time you start the real movement, you start the class, it's you are in a different energetic state. So I didn't know why, I just knew that I thought it was good. So now when I use it, and I'm actually teaching the class after this live, I'm gonna do it tonight. Thank you.
You can do it in the shower.
In the shower. Well, that's with dangerous, right? What if you sleep? Anyway, thank you so much. And just stay with us. Just leave the camera, but continue in the live. Thank you, Katie.
Okay. Thank you.
Wonderful. So our next speaker, our next goddess is Marta Victoria, and she is from the Dominican Republic, like I mentioned at the beginning, but she's lived for many years in the United States, and she's based in Miami at the moment, where she has her own studio. She's a yoga therapist, and she's certified with close to 2,000 hours of training. So if you really want to do yoga therapy, she's definitely the person to go to. When she told me first, I thought that was a mistake, but really no, she's got almost 2,000 hours of training. And so yeah, she practices and teaches yoga for wellness beyond the surface. She wants yoga to be more than just movement. And with it, she's able to reconnect her body with her mind, with her emotions. And that's what she wants to pass on to other people, to people that go and work with her at her studio. Because after a life of searching, that you can learn more when you watch the podcast we'll be doing with her. And she found happiness through yoga, and she found purpose through yoga. And that's why, because she fully enjoys it, she wants to share it with all of us and her clients. So today she's going to be telling us about breath awareness, which is a very fundamental part of yoga as well, and of living, because definitely if we don't breathe right, we've got a problem. Thank you, Marta, and the microphone is yours.
Right, thank you, Moon. Why the breath? Because the breath is like a gauge. All the other goddesses that they've been talking about, stress, anxiety, and how everything, life gets in the way and all that. So when we bring that breath awareness to our consciousness, we can pretty much tell where our nervous system is. I like to teach breath in 3 different ways, like 3 dimensions. The first dimension is, all right, you're breathing. That's the first dimension, and everybody knows the first dimension of breath, which is you're breathing, and you don't need to do anything else other than, just let it happen. The second dimension of the breath is when we start paying attention to the breath. So when you start noticing how your breath is showing up in your body, and okay, that's how my nervous system is acting right now. And then the third dimension is, okay, what do I do with that information from my own body telling me, my own breath is telling me something? Then what do I do? Well, that's when a few techniques for breathing comes pretty handy. Most people talk about anxiety and stress and all that. And of course, that shows up in our body, shortness of breath. We talk fast. We can not even catch up with our own thoughts. So then what do we do with that information? Okay. The first thing is to start observing the breath and then controlling the breath. That's the third dimension, when you are aware of how the breath is showing up, and then you start controlling the breath. Usually when you want to deal with anxiety, stress, and all that, you want to concentrate on lengthening your exhale. The problem with the breath is that the moment you tell somebody, take a deep breath, this is what people do. They take a deep inhale, very, almost like violent, and then they use the accessory muscles. So when we're talking about taking control of the breath, especially to control anxiety and stress and all that, is the better your exhale, the better your inhale. So forget about your inhale, because you're going to be inhaling, because that's the nervous system. That's what the nervous system do when it's aroused, is to be always short inhale. So forget about the inhale, concentrate on grounding yourself. You're going to be releasing, you're going to be talking to your vagus nerve, which is a super important nerve that comes from the cranial, and it ripples to your entire body, all the organs and everything. So the more you concentrate on your exhale, the better off you will be controlling your nervous system. A few techniques that you can do in any place. Just natural inhale, and then concentrate on your exhale. And even after the exhale, if you take a little pause, maybe 1, 2, 3 seconds, during those pauses, it gives you like a really natural moment of tapping into your inner space. And then you resume your inhale. Another thing is that, which is very powerful, it's the humming breath, the 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗰𝗵 breath. If you hum, you take a natural inhale, and then on the exhale, you start humming. I always tell my clients that, if your husband is bothering you, just hum your way out of that situation. But really, it's a really powerful breath. And concentrate also in and out through your nose. There is a powerful substance that creates when we inhale through the nose. It's the nitric oxide that really ripples into your entire body. It's a vasodilator, and it's, by the way, it's in Viagra. Nitric oxide is in Viagra, so tell your partners to in and out through the nose. So again, just bottom line, pay attention to your breath, because that's a gauge that you can tell where your nervous system is. Like this morning, I woke up, I had my booster Moderna booster yesterday, and this morning my heart was racing. My heart is still racing. So I've been kind of like working my way out, you know, with my exhales and lengthening my exhale. So with that, back to you, Moon.
Thank you so much. I was having a problem with the microphone. That's very interesting. We'll take good note of the Viagra breath. I think some of us could just use it at some point. And thank you for being here with us, even though I know you are not feeling the best, and for sharing your tips. And we'll be giving more information about this because soon, ladies, whoever is listening, will be just doing some workshops, some seminars, some online classes, which each one of our goddesses. So you'll be able to join and just learn from them, from each one of the different areas of expertise that they have. So it's a good trial to know now what they do, so then you can choose and pick among our wonderful goddesses. Thank you, Marta. And
thank you.
You can stay. You don't need to leave, because we are the last 4 in here. So you can get to stay if you choose to. Up to you. Okay. All right. So last but not least, here we have Katherine Taurasi. She's from Dallas, or she lives in Dallas, Texas. I actually don't know if she's original from Dallas, but she can let us know. And she's a dancer. She's an ever curious woman. She has been creating work and mentoring dances in the New York Baroque Dance Company for over 40 years now. And she works in endless and timeless. She feels that dance is endless and timeless, and that's why she believes she's endless and timeless, which I think it's very, very beautiful. She loves being a woman, like we all should, and also she likes sharing her experience of over 6 decades with all the challenges that she's gone through with other women that are willing to just listen to her and just learn from her. So today, she's not gonna give us only a talk. She's gonna be taking our participants, so stay tuned, through an exercise of about 2 minutes on what she calls, or what is called, cosmography. And that's a Vitruvian meditation. She'll have to tell us more about that. And it's based on Leonardo Da Vinci's writings. And through this movement and this exercise, it helps awaken and marries the spiritual and material world within us. It sounds very complex, but I'm sure that Katherine will make it very easy. So your turn, and we're ready. I'm ready to try the meditation.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here with the other goddesses, and I really appreciate this organization. So yes, I'm going to try and simplify these ideas. Basically, this exercise is inspired from Leonardo Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. And because we're all women, I will, or many of us are women, I guess, I will refer to this as the Vitruvian goddess. He talks about the microcosm and the macrocosm. So the macrocosm is the entire universe and how it works in terms of the movement of the planets, the music of the spheres. And that our bodies are a microcosm, or a little universe reflecting this larger universe. The way this happens in our bodies, just go ahead and squeeze your muscles or squeeze your flesh right now on your bones. He talks about the flesh on the bones as being like the dirt that's on the rocks. So your bones in this microcosm reflecting the macrocosm, your bones are actually the rocks, and the flesh is the dirt on top of that. He talks about the blood as being like the water. And he talks about you have the Mediterranean Sea, or you have the ocean. And just as the ocean water may come up and feed the river, it also draws the water back down as the tide changes. And he says that in our bodies, this is the same thing. It's reflected in our bodies. He also talks about the Vitruvian goddess is all about proportion. So if you just stand up and you take an X like so, and you draw a circle around the space that you're in, you are drawing the Vitruvian Circle. So this circle is in the proportion of your body. And just go ahead to the other side. And he talks about the circle as being the representative of the spiritual world, and the middle of the spiritual world is the navel. So any movements that you're doing from the navel or from the waist are more in the spiritual world. He then talks about the body as also being in the material world, because the human being is the marriage of the spiritual and the material world. So if you just stand in a square like so, and you leave your arms out like this, you can feel that you have more of a sense of gravity. Just let go of any tension you might have in your shoulders, so that you're really resting in the shoulder blades here, just resting in the back so that you're coming from the shoulders. In order to feel that sense of the blood as flowing through the body in connection with the sea, in connection with the ebb and flow of the water, what I'd like to ask you to do is just to stand like so, bend your knees, or you can do it sitting as well, and feel that the water is going to be flowing. We're going to go over like so. All right, let's just do it with me. And feel that the water is coming through the toes, up through the feet, through the ankles. It's going up through the leg. Your knees are now straightening up through the hips, all the way up, continuing on through the spine and through the head. And then imagine that the water tide reverses. So it's pulling the energy out from the toes, from the ankles, from the leg, and the last thing to come down would be the head. And now do this with the breath. And just feel that's leading out through your toes as you go like so. And now add to this the spiral. So the spiral is the line of beauty in the 18th century, but the spiral is also used very much to represent life. When plants come alive, they don't just go straight up, they always have this spiral. So let's try and incorporate that spiral in the center of the body. And as you go up, I'm going to spiral this way. So the water's not only coming up, but it's also going out through the spiral. And then I'm reversing that as I come down. And try it to the other side. And as Marta said, be sure that you're breathing. Katie was talking about shaking. You can also do this exercise with shaking. So just coming up in the sagittal plane. You can just do a little shake as you're coming up. You can do this at any speed. But it's just if you feel like shaking that day, you can add the shaking to it. The square, the square is also a cube. So when you're walking around in space, you're saying hello to people at the party, you don't just occupy this small amount of space, which is like maybe 5 feet, 2 inches. Let's say that you occupy the space, like all the space that you can touch. This is your sphere, this is your spiritual world. So this is a part of your space, and you invite people to come into your space by going back, or perhaps you're presenting something with them, so you move your space towards them. But you also have a cube, because the square is a cube. So just reach up in this corner, and you're going to make a diagonal from that upward corner going down to the opposite corner. And go ahead and pull it back. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how to do this, but as you do this, you realize that you're coming through your heart space, and that you're leaning forward. You can change your base, like how your weight is on your 2 feet. Maybe I want to retreat first by taking my base away and then coming here and then reaching up. I also do the other diagonal. And again, you can do these as many times as you want. I also like to do this to music because I'm a dancer. So it's a way of just warming up the body before getting into dancing. But it's also a wonderful exercise to do when you find that you're watching a lot of Zoom recordings or live Instagram. You just get up and do this. And I think we're probably coming to the end of the time. But basically, the idea is that this is a way of enlivening your body. And the exercises come from reading Da Vinci's explanation of the Vitruvian Man or the Vitruvian goddess. So thank you very much. I hope that wasn't too long, but Moon, it's so much fun to share this with you, and especially with Katie and Marta, and also Anne and Dominique. I love hearing what you have to say. Thank you.
No, thanks to you, and we hope that one day we can get you to record that in a proper video, so we can do it on the privacy of our homes without the camera, because it was hard for the ones of the ones who are in camera now to just. I would have loved to do it, but I kind of have to be attentive. So we'll discuss that. And I've got to apologize because I said Katherine was the last, and it's not true. we were supposed to finish with her, but at some point my camera, I just lost the site in here. So here we have Vicki Villard, and she was supposed to go before Katherine because we wanted to close with the meditation, but you know, plans are made to be changed, and it's good to expect the unexpected. So Vicky's here, and she's original from San Pedro in Honduras, but she's living in Weston, in a place very close to Miami in Florida. And she was living for a while in Peru as well. And during that time, she was suffering some health problems. And that's what just kind of got her into thinking that she wanted to take better care of herself. And she started developing strategies that work for her. And at the same time, she decided that because she also comes from a line of cooks, and she loves cooking from, she was a very small kid, she could cook delicious food. So putting all that together, she started to become a health coach. And since then, she's been working with clients in privately, also doing workshops and classes. And since she's specialized on women's hormonal changes, obviously it's very much the topic of what we talk at Grace of No Age. And she's very curious, and she likes always to explore new boundaries, and she does that in the kitchen and also outside of the kitchen, because she feels like the purpose of just taking care of ourselves is that we feel happier and better in our own bodies. So again, sorry for the confusion, Vicki, and the microphone is yours. She's going to tell us about women nutrients needs, which are very good to know in this end of the year and coming new year.
Thank you so much, Moon. It's such a pleasure to be here and to see you. You've given me a challenge, because I mean, you're giving me roughly 5 minutes to speak about one of my greatest passions, which is health, and how the two of them combined can lead to wonderful things for us. I want to start by saying that I've gathered things here and there from yesterday's live. Like, I loved what Pilar said yesterday about, it's a phrase that I usually repeat to myself and to my clients and friends, tratarnos con cariño, like treat ourselves with love and self-compassion and care. And to me, that translates, and it begins with, you know, what we eat, how we nourish ourselves with the outside, but, you know, what's on our plate. And recently, I organized a little brunch with some friends, and I felt like I wanted to be respectful, and I texted them. I said, hey, do you guys have any food restrictions, anything I should know about? And they said, nope, no restrictions. I was like, okay, great. So I made, you know, this great brunch for them, shakshuka eggs and some sprouts and potatoes, trying to stick to, you know, what I believe, how health begins in the kitchen. And then we were sitting around, and they all started talking about how their bodies have changed, and how the pants don't fit the same anymore, and how they've gained you know, weight here and there. And I was like, you know, listening to them talk, and it's just, it's normal, you know, it's part of our aging process, that our bodies are going to change, they will change, but it's really important how we embrace those changes and how we talk to ourselves, you know, and that's part of life, you know, and we need to be comfortable in our own bodies and not, you know, try to fit into somebody else's body. So having said that, I don't think we should, there is no perfect diet. We should focus on daily habits, and what we do every day matters, like sleep, good quality sleep, stress, manage your stress, moving, dancing, exercise, yoga, whatever you like, but constant movement every day, something that you like, and eat the right foods. So what happens during perimenopause and menopause is that we have the, you know, fluctuating hormones, estrogen and progesterone are like all over the place, and that can lead to issues like weight gain in some women. Unfortunately, some women enter into these restrictive diets that lead us with depleted hormones. So when we do extreme diets that eliminate many food groups because of fear of gaining weight, we then have, you know, the counterpart, which is hormone imbalances. So trying to stick to my 5 minutes, I made a list so that I don't go about food, sharing recipes here and there. But one of the things that we need to include more of, because as estrogen declines, we may be, you know, we may head into osteoporosis or bone deficiencies. So we need calcium. And how do we incorporate calcium? Is with dairy, good quality dairy, dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, beans, tofu, which could be controversial, but check your facts. I think tofu can be really good for you. Fish like sort of sardines, but to better absorb calcium, we also need vitamin D, and the best source of vitamin D is like right out here, the sun. Go out and get, you know, I know you're very good at that, at your sun, getting your vitamin D, and just at least 10 minutes a day of good sunlight could help, you know, get that vitamin D that we need for calcium to stick to our bones. We need fiber. We need fiber to help our digestion moving, which is one of the things that can suffer during perimenopause, again, because of the hormone changes. So fiber, and one of my favorite ways to include fiber is through cruciferous vegetables, which is like kale, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, because they help move dirty estrogens out of our bodies, you know, which can become toxic and have other consequences. Fats, healthy fats. One of the things that women try to avoid because of fear of gaining weight is fat. And there's like processed junk fats, which I'm okay that you can avoid, except, you know, have your Doritos every once in a while, you know, rocks your boat. If you eat healthy % of the time, go ahead and grab that bag of Doritos, you know, but then stick to healthy habits again, you know, get on the wagon again. So then healthy fats, we've got olive oil, avocado, nuts, seeds. You can even use avocado for smoothies, which, you know, is amazing. Nuts into your salad, yogurt, oatmeal. Fatty fishes like salmon, anchovies, and seeds like flax, chia. And also, one word of caution when it comes to flax is that it's best if you buy it whole and then grind it as you go, because it tends to oxidize. So try not to buy the ground flax seeds, just whole, and then ground them a little as you go. So those are rich in like omega-3 acids, and, you know, we need fat for hormone production, okay? So stick to healthy fats. Carbs. There's a lot of diets out there that eliminate carbs, but we need carbs for energy. You know, be wise about which carbs you use. And also carbs with good mood boosting properties. Whole grains, oats, brown rice, barley, millet, they're nutrient rich, and they also contain lots of B vitamins. which we tend to lack of during menopause also. Magnesium, during perimenopause and menopause, sometimes we have muscle cramps and aches, headaches. Magnesium help us to improve those symptoms. And one of my favorite ways to include magnesium in my diet is having a little bit of dark chocolate every day, or cashews, almonds, you know, there's a lot of sources out there that you can include. I believe that we should try to get as much nutrition as we can from food, and then, you know, may try to supplement if you feel that you are lacking in some of the areas. Very important is phytoestrogens, which act as weak in our body, and we get them from, again, tofu or edamame, flax, beans, lentils. Green tea is great, black tea, berries, pomegranates, and sprouts. If you're into sprouting, I recommend you try to incorporate red clover sprouts, which are high in phytoestrogens. Protein is a big one. As we age, we need to keep track of our protein, you know, to keep up with you know, our muscle building or muscle maintenance. So on average, women need about 45 grams a day, depending, you know, it's about 0.75 grams per kilo, something like that. And then, you know, from meats, eggs, fish, beans, seeds, but also keep in mind, if you follow a plant-based diet or a vegan diet, there is also a lot of protein in plant foods, except, you know, you have to make up and, you know, maybe add a little bit more, like spinach and kale are like 50% protein. You may also use adaptogenic herbs like maca for phytoestrogens, for libido, which is like libido, which is a big one for us. Ashwagandha is another herb to try to calm our mood, and also to a good sugar balance and hormone producing. You need to have protein, fat, and fiber in every meal to keep sustained levels of you know, to keep your blood sugar in check, and so you don't get hunger during the day. And I also recommend, you know, healthy snacks here and there, because if you avoid eating when you're hungry, when you get hungrier, you're going to eat the first thing that you grab or the first thing that you walk into in the street. So try not to get to that point where you're extremely hungry. Water, I loved what Dominique said about water. You know, we have to stay hydrated, not just during the holidays, you know, to make up for maybe a little bit too many glasses of wine, but our skin gets drier. Remember, our skin is our largest organ, and the skin on our face and our, you know, vaginal skin also becomes dry. So water is very important. And I always hear people saying, I don't like to drink water. You can add lemon, you can add berries, you can add herbs like rosemary and mint or cucumber. There are so many ways that you can make water be more tasty for you. So stay hydrated. Finally, things that we want to consume a little less of may be or might be, depending, you know, I believe in bio-individuality. What works for one person might not work for the other. So be mindful of how much caffeine you're taking. If you become too jittery after caffeine, maybe it's a good idea to switch to green tea or other form of like herbal coffees out there. Like I drink mushroom coffee, which I think is amazing. Alcohol. I was talking to some friends the other day and we were laughing at how, you know, in our 20s, bottle of wine was like no big deal. Now we have one glass of wine and we have like hangover the day after. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's because, you know, all our and our hormone system works together, and our liver a harder time to you know, metabolize alcohol. So here's a trick for my fellow drinkers over there, and I tried it last weekend and it worked. And I heard it from, I believe it's a doctor or a nutritionist, I'm not sure, but I tried it. Have a B complex before going out or before planning on having some wine, and one before going to bed, and have some warm lemon water, and also try to eat protein and healthy fats. Also, for every glass of wine, try to add a glass of water. Okay, so try the B complex trick, and then hack, and it might work. I know, Moon, you enjoy your glass of wine like I do, and we had the pleasure of toasting together a while back. So keep that in mind, and just keep a food journal around and see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Keep track of your digestion and how it's working for you, and I believe that food is meant to be enjoyed, and I don't believe in too many restrictive diets, and I know it works different for all of us, and we should, during this stage, for all the obvious emotional reasons, but also for food, I think we should hang out with women and friends that take us to the next level or support our choices. So try to hang out and go out and have fun and eat with girlfriends that enjoy the way that you approach food every day. So yeah, that's it. If you want recipes, text me.
Yes. If you want recipes, you can find Vicki in our webpage. Actually, you can find all the goddesses on our webpage, and then from there you can access their Instagram, Facebook accounts, webpage, any other platform they might have to connect with us. Thank you so much, Vicki. And I didn't know about the spinach having 50% protein. That shocked me. It's good. I love spinach.
All leafy greens, protein. So, if you're more plant-based, you can just add more of them. Don't be afraid.
I call myself flexitarian. I just eat what I want.
I think of myself flexitarian too, and I think it really works. So.
Yes. Excellent. So, ladies, thank you all very much. And now's the time for questions. Even though you only see three goddesses and me on camera now, all the other ones are surely following our chat. So post any questions, and if you want any specific goddess to reply to it, let us know. And so we can maybe give you some extra information that you were curious about or something. So any questions out there? At the moment, I don't see anything. Okay, let me see one sec. Okay. Right. We're not getting any questions. So, well, I guess you all explained yourself so well that no one's got any doubt. But again, if you want any further information, reach out to us through any of our channels, or just here Dominique says I added the water calculator above, so just go back to the chat and get the information. Reach out to us, any channel. We've got Facebook, Instagram. We are in YouTube, where you'll find podcasts with our goddesses talking about different themes we've just studied. So we're new on that. We're new on most of this technology, but you'll have to admit we're doing really, really well. Proof is today, we just managed to get everyone on board. And we'll be doing more podcasts introducing you our goddesses. And we will also be then doing a specific podcast where each goddess will be discussing a certain topic. Could be nutrition, or keeping your hormones in balance, or regaining your power, or just meditations for whenever you've watched too much Netflix and Zoom. Just mentioning all this because I'm seeing you. I'm making it up as I go. So, and we'll also be opening an area on our website very soon, where we'll be posting also different courses, workshops, seminars that you will be able to join with one goddess or two goddesses together. We're also going to be starting with the retreats, like I mentioned at the beginning. So there's so much going on, and we're working so hard to just find ways to help you, ladies, that you really need to connect with us and continue following us and giving us your support, because we really need to know that we're providing what you need. And if there's something we're not doing, just please let us know, and we'll try to just make it happen. So if there are no questions, I just want to thank everyone today, all the goddesses that were present here. And I also want to thank the person at the back, who's our boy. We have a boy on the project. His name is 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗃. We introduced him yesterday, but I think we're running a bit out of time today. So he's the, even though we're all women, he's the one just managing all the technical aspects of the project. And without him, definitely we wouldn't be here, because we had no idea how to make this happen. So thank you, 𝗟𝗏, and thank you, each one of you. And we'll be doing more of this soon. Everyone, Merry Christmas, and you all have a happy, happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.